here and I just check your levels.
Un, dau, tri, pedwar, pump, chwech, saith, wyth, naw, deg, undeg, deuddeg, bla bla bla, un, dau, tri, pedwar, pump, chwech, saith, wyth, naw, deg, un, deg dau.
I just got in now. I don't know, mate. I'm still out on the train, so.
Oh, you were on the train?
Yeah.
You were staying there?
Yeah.
Same place as well?
No. We're in, man.
How you doing? All right, good.
Morning. Bore da, diolch am ddod i'r gynhadledd. Thanks for coming to the press conference.
How are you? Bore da.
Here's the
How you doing?
game against the Netherlands a week on Friday, our first since qualifying. So it's a normal press conference with Chris. We'll take broadcasters first, television and radio, and then the written press, and then one-to-one interviews after. Okay, who wants to go first? Yeah?
Chris,
Yeah?
on that,
Bore da.
Gareth Bale, how close was he to be named in the squad?
Yeah, I think on the back of the last camp, and he's not figured for Madrid. He went back, trained a few days, and got injured in training. I think, you know, having the correspondence with Madrid, he'll probably figure in the next game for them, I would imagine. But they want to use this time wisely and carefully to try and get him up to speed. We respect that. And I think Gareth also wants to do what's right. You know, we've never taken risks with players. It's not in our nature to do that. So I think if we had taken him, and it's not that Madrid said you can't take him, but we've got to look at it and think, right, a wise thing to do is he misses this game, he stays there, uses the time wisely with the Madrid medical team to get him up to scratch. And Gareth obviously wants to be back playing for Madrid. He loves playing for Madrid, and who wouldn't? So it's in our interest as well, long term, not to take a chance, because we've never done that. So he'll stay with Madrid and use that time he'll have a special training program, and hopefully to get him up to scratch.
When was the decision made to
This week, because you never know, you know, it's up until the weekend. You think, you know, 2 or 3 days can make a big difference. But it was really right down to the wire. The decision was made on the back of where he is physically. So, you know, it went down to the wire. I have to stress, it's not that Real Madrid said you can't have him. It was a good conversation. On both parties, us also, we think it's the right thing to do. He can stay there, concentrate on maybe getting himself a little bit fitter physically to where he was. Because if he does come with us, you know, obviously it's the travelling, and then it's the game, it's travelling back, and maybe that may be an impact, maybe. So there's no need for us to take the risk. So we understand where Real Madrid are coming from. And I think it's a wise choice by both parties.
I take it you've spoken to Gareth himself. How disappointed is he that he's not going to be starting the squad?
Yeah, he wants to play in every game. We've seen that, and you know, I think he showed everybody what it means to him to play for Wales and represent his country. And you look at the work he's done for us, certainly in this campaign. He's been amazing. He doesn't want to miss games. You know, he wants to keep scoring goals for Wales, and it's a great game as well. It's Holland. It's a great game. So he doesn't want to miss that. But he understands, and he understands as well. He's got to, you know, he belongs to Real Madrid at the end of the day. You know, I keep saying that. They're not our players. They belong to their respective clubs, and we've always understood that. And he's got a duty to Real Madrid. Like I said, he's really proud to play for Real Madrid, as we are. You know, we've got a Welshman playing for one of the most recognised, biggest clubs with the biggest history in the world, and he wants to do well for Real Madrid. So there's no need for us to take the risk. He understands that. He was disappointed, but he understands that this is the right move.
Chris, in terms of leaving Aaron Ramsey out, understandable why, but how disappointed are you by the comments that have come out of Arsenal and Arsene Wenger in particular? That must have been quite difficult for you to take.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, look, anybody can call me up. I've got a problem. If Wenger had a problem with me or my selection, call me up. I'll gladly drive to Arsenal's training ground or wherever his office is. You know, our job's hard enough as managers without us having a little chip at each other, especially a cheap shot, which that's exactly what it was, his comments. A, don't comment on Gareth Bale because that doesn't figure for Arsenal. It's got nothing to do with Arsenal. B, if he's got a problem with my selection of one of his players, was obviously Aaron Ramsey, pick the phone up and tell me. And if I got it wrong, I'd gladly hold my hands up. But as we've just talked about Real Madrid, that's how it works. If I get no correspondence from a club when I put my squad out, I have no phone call from the manager, my medical team has no correspondence with whatever club's medical team we're talking about, that is a green light for us to play the player. Plain and simple. There was no correspondence from Wenger or his medical team to mine, so for me it's a green light. Now, if you look at what he said, he called Roy Hodgson up to speak about Theo Walcott, to warn him. He didn't call me up. Why? It's a 5-minute phone call. Call me up and say to me, be careful with Aaron, and that's exactly what I would have done. I never got that phone call. There was nothing. Anyway, we send Aaron back fit because he plays against Watford for 90 minutes. They kicked off on the Saturday night. I watched the game. And they're playing 3 days later against Bayern Munich. But after 70 or 75 minutes, Arsenal are 3-0 up. Take him off. Rest him. He still had 2 substitutions that he could have made. I was watching the game. So they kick off late Saturday night. Aaron plays 90 minutes. Then they play again on the Tuesday. And he starts and he lasts an hour and he pulls up. Now, how we can get to the assumption that that was our responsibility, I have no idea. And I would have understood it a bit more had he picked the phone up to me and explained to me his disappointment, and I would have given him my side of the story. But you can't just say something like that because we did nothing wrong. I've said all the way down the line, it doesn't serve me well or us well to upset clubs because the players don't belong to us. Whilst we have a certain amount of power where we can say, well, you know, it's international duty, we're calling them up. It's not in our interest to upset people or to gamble with players. We've never done that, and we never did it with Aaron. Never gambled with Aaron Ramsey. Why would we? So on the back of us having no warning or correspondence from Arsenal or Wenger to me, why wouldn't we play Aaron Ramsey? And we're talking about a game and a half later is when he pulls up. So don't point the finger at us. My medical team's fantastic. A lot of our, whatever success we've had so far is because we're vigilant with the players. Physically, we get out of them what we can. And that's a lot of work goes into our preparation. A lot of work with our medical team. Rylan Morgan, our physical trainer, along with Adam Owen, they do a lot of work with the players, a lot of work into the stats. So we don't take any chances. But if we don't get warned to say this player could be in a red zone, be careful, then that's a green light for us. So I thought that was... I didn't understand why he never called me. If he's calling Roy Hodgson up about Theo Walcott, he can call me up about Aaron Ramsey. So that was his mistake, not mine and not my medical team's mistake.
Chris, obviously the situation has arisen here and it's clearly angered you. How can it be resolved? Because Aaron is one of your best players, a crucial player now for you, not just for coming 6 months, but also hope when you get to Euro 2016 in France now, it looks like the situation needs to be resolved somehow. How will you try and mend bridges with Arsene Wenger or Arsenal themselves? Do you feel you have to be the bigger man here and try and resolve this? Because clearly you are very angry by how Arsene Wenger and Arsenal handled the situation. But as you say, you need Ramsey, but he's their player.
Yeah, but I think there's a way to... Me speaking publicly now is not something I would normally do, but I'm paying him the respect he paid me, which is not a lot. So it doesn't help me to burn bridges with clubs and managers. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit back and let someone put blame on us where we don't deserve it. Because at the end, that's my job. We need to protect Wales, and I'll do that with everything that I've got. We work in the right way. We make sure of that. When the players come with us, they're treated properly. We don't take chances. Equally, when someone tries to blame us for their mistake, I won't sit back and just accept that. Absolutely not. And whatever happens going forward, Aaron Ramsey is one of the main players for us. Of course, he's a fantastic player. He's done brilliant for us. Proud Welshman. He loves playing for Wales. And it's not in my interest to rock the boat. I'm not going to sit back and just let someone say things like that and put blame on us where we don't deserve it. Because I've got to protect my staff also. And like I said, I couldn't get a better staff. Our medical team's fantastic. So I'm not going to sit back and let that happen. I wouldn't.
Chris, is there a possibility, you tell me if I'm wrong here with the statement I'm making, is that your Wales are being shown a lack of respect to? You said Wenger spoke to Theo Walcott because he plays for England, but little old Wales didn't bother ringing you. Is there a lack of respect there, you feel, as well?
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a lack of respect. Because when you look at it, what else could it be? Why wouldn't he call me up, or why wouldn't the medical team get in touch with our medical team? I wouldn't, if I sent him back. And the fact that he comments on Gareth Bale, he never commented about Hal Robson-Kanu getting injured and not playing for Reading. Now, Hal twists his ankle on the pitch, can't play for Reading. I never had Steve Clarke calling me up saying, this, that, or the other. We have football's football, but we sent Aaron back fit. 2 games down the line, he's blaming us for fatigue, where he could have done something about that. He was in a position to. He could have done something about Aaron playing both 90 minutes for Wales by calling me up beforehand. Even after the Bosnia game, there's 3 days before we play Andorra, my phone's on. The medical team can call our medical team. Nothing. And afterwards, to make that comment, that's not right. And we don't deserve to be fingered like that and say, well, that's their problem, that's his problem. No. That was his problem. He never dealt with it. We dealt with it properly. My medical team dealt with it properly, so did I. That's him. So I'm not digging anybody out and saying I'm not causing a problem. I'm actually dealing with a problem that's been handed to me publicly. Like I said, if he picked the phone up to me, I would have driven to wherever he was and had a conversation privately. He took that out of my hands by making the comments he did. So hence why we're discussing it.
We can move on to something maybe a bit more positive. Before the Andorra game, you said you've been to France a couple of times. You're hoping to go this month for a training base. So you've got to get ready for a tournament now. Any more news you can tell us on that? Have you found the training base? This will be our 3rd or 4th time we've been out, to be honest. We've looked at quite a few. And it's going to be one of those things where we're not going to be able to tick every box no matter what camp we pick. We've got to just try and get as much right as we can. So there's a couple that we like. So we'll be going back out to check them again. I'll be going out this time with quite a few members of staff because it's important that they see where we're staying and to get their ideas on it. But it's not confirmed. Obviously, then we've got the draw in December, and then we're looking to play a friendly in March before we kick off in the summer. So there's a hell of a lot of work for us to do in terms of preparation. I know people think, between now and the summer is a long time, but in actually what we need to get ready, we've got a lot of work to do. But we've not confirmed a site. We've got a couple in mind that we like, but obviously we've not confirmed that yet. Would you like that signed off before the end of the month, before Christmas perhaps?
Before Christmas, certainly, yeah. I think it's important as well for the players to know where we're going, why we're going to that, whatever site it is, so they'll have a bit of peace of mind. Because obviously they've got families also that are going to want to know where we're going to be based. So, hopefully sooner rather than later we'll get that all ironed out.
The game itself, why Holland? Why the Netherlands?
We always want to play against I know they've had a tough time, haven't they, in this campaign, Holland, but Holland's Holland. And we played against them 2 years ago in Amsterdam. It was a great game, in a friendly. And you always want to play against top opposition, and albeit they've had a tough campaign, it's still Holland. There'll still be, a difficult game for us, and it's a big challenge for the players. And we always try to put them in difficulty, because that's how you learn, that's how you get better. So it's a great game for us, and we're looking forward to it.
How can you use that for potential opponents in France next summer?
I think for us, it's more about us. All due respect to Holland, they're still a good team, but we'll concentrate on us. We've got injuries going into the game. We've got obviously key players missing, but that happens, and that could happen in the summer. And if you're up against good teams like Holland, which we will be, no matter what group we're in, we're going to have to cope with that. And so it's a good learning curve for us to see how we cope with it. If I'm honest, I kind of already know, all things being well, kind of know which way we're going to go in the tournament, how we're going to play. And things change, but predominantly I know what we need to be doing.
Chris, if we go back, Gareth and Aaron not available. I think Gareth played in all 10 qualifiers, Aaron played in 8. So at least this gives you an opportunity to experiment with different players and possibly with different formations.
Yeah, we changed formation against Andorra. The Andorra game, we guessed that most of the game would be played in their half, which it was. So we changed formation. And it's always good to have, if you need to change your formation tactically, that the players are aware of it and they've experienced it. And we did that actually 3 or 4 times during the campaign, and the players adapted brilliantly. And now we'll have 1 or 2 fresh faces in the squad. Tom Bradshaw will be joining us from Walsall, who's already, I think, got 9 goals this season for Walsall. He's doing very well. Like I said, we're out without Bailo and without Hal, so that's opened up a door for someone else, and it'll be his first experience with the first team. So I'm looking forward to working with Tom, and hopefully he'll adapt. I'm sure he will. And it's good for us to see some of the other players who maybe didn't get as many starts in the campaign as they would have wanted. Nevertheless, the group being what it is, which is a great group, these players, they turn up every game, friendly or not, and they'll get some good playing time next Friday night, and they deserve that. So it's a true saying, isn't it? One door closes, another one opens up for someone else, and I'm quite sure they'll take their opportunity.
Let me just ask you to finish up about the goalkeeping situation, as in when NSA is the number 1, but Daiwo or Angon, they still haven't won a cap yet. Are you tempted to give one of them a chance in this game?
Yeah, I think had the result against Andorra and the game gone a bit differently, during the game I would have maybe given one of them some playing time. And obviously going into next Friday, we're going to go as strong as we can, and Wayne's our number 1 keeper. So I'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll have more games before the summer. I'm sure we will anyway, definitely in March and maybe a couple before. And it is important that they get a bit of time on the pitch, and if we can factor that in, then absolutely we'll do that.
Okay, can we move on to the written test and switch off the microphones, please?
Chris?
To be fair, you avoided scenarios like this for a long time because of the